Gustavus Theodor von Holst was born September 21st, 1874, and died May 25th, 1934. He was one of two children born to Adolf and Clara von Holst in Shettleham, Gloucestershire, England. Gustav Holst was best known for his original composition, The Planets Suite for Orchestra. 7 planets were represented. Pluto and Earth did not make the cut. Listen to the movement Mars, which has been featured in many films, and you may recognize. One of Holst's largest influences, both musically and personally, is Richard Wagner, born in 1813 and died in 1883, best known for his composition The Ride of the Valkyries that you were listening to now. Another influence of Holst was Richard Strauss, born in 1864 and died in 1949, best known for Also sprach Zarathustra, also known as the 2001 Space Odyssey theme. And finally, another influence was Ralph Vaughan Williams, born in 1872 and died in 1958, who was a friend and companion to Holst throughout his whole life. Both Holst and Vaughan Williams used English folk songs in their music that set them apart from the serialism movement that was happening at the time. Vaughan Williams was best known for English folk song Suite for Band that you can hear now. As mentioned before, Gustav Holst came from a long line of musicians. His great-grandfather, Matthias, was a harpist and composer in Russia. His grandfather, also with the name Gustavus, was a harp teacher and composer of salon-style music. His father, Adolf, was an organist and choir director in England, and his mother was a harp teacher in the local area. Holst was not a natural-born musician and had to work very hard to get his fame. He didn't receive a scholarship to the Royal Conservatory of Music and had to borrow money from his friends and family to attend the school. After years of perseverance, he received a scholarship, the RCM, and finished his degree. He couldn't support himself with his compositions, even though it was a passion of his to write music. He performed professionally with his trombone in orchestras, including those under the baton of Richard Wagner. Holst integrated folk songs from all across the country into his music. It was described as simple, expressive, and economical. Holst was writing melodies at a time when melody and expressiveness was on its way out. 12-tone harmony, a technique where using all 12 tones in the chromatic scale before reusing the notes over again, was on the rise. There are certain patterns to those tones that the composers will use over and over, go backwards, flip the notes, and flip the notes and go backwards. This was becoming immensely prominent in these times and was looked as fresh and intriguing. Both Holst and his longtime friend Ralph Vaughan Williams, another prominent English composer, decided that the world needed more melody and detested this sort of music. Now, still being pragmatic, he used techniques such as bitonality and polytonality, where there are several key signatures going on at one time, as well as different, unconventional time signatures. Holst's music can be categorized under his early period, experimental period, full flowering, and late period. Self-described as early horrors, many of Holst's early period works did not catch on to fame in his youth. However, many critics have analyzed his works and have found several small orchestral elements that show up in his later works. His composition teacher, who also wrote about Holst's scholarly life, stated that his compositions were some of the most unique, apprenticed works that he has heard. Holst's best work came from his full flowering period, where the works mentioned at the beginning of the story were written. These are the works that Holst is known for in today's band and orchestra classrooms. Although only a few of his works remain as staples in both band and orchestral literature, the contributions that Holst made to the world of music will be with us for many more decades to come.